My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm 27. I work as a graphic designer from home, and I live alone in a small apartment complex on the edge of town. This happened last Halloween, exactly 1 year ago. I'm telling you this because I need someone to understand what really happened that night. Because the police didn't believe me. My friends didn't believe me. And sometimes, late at night, I'm not sure I believe myself, but I know what I saw. I know what happened. And I know why. I'd been living in that apartment for about 6 months when Halloween came around. It wasn't a bad place, 2-story building. Maybe 12 units total, quiet neighborhood. My apartment was on the 2nd floor, corner unit, with windows facing the parking lot and the street. I could see everything from up there. The neighbors coming and going. The kids playing. Everything. I'm not a big Halloween person. Never have been. I don't do costumes. I don't go to parties. And I definitely don't hand out candy. I know that sounds cold, but I just prefer to keep to myself. Work keeps me busy. Deadlines, clients, projects. I don't have time for much else. That Halloween night, I decided to turn off all my lights and pretend I wasn't home. Standard procedure. I figured the trick-or-treaters would skip my door and move on to the more enthusiastic neighbors. Around 7 p.m., I settled in with my laptop, working on a logo design for a client, lights off except for my screen. That's when the first knock came. 3 sharp knocks. Deliberate. Not the excited. Rapid knocking of kids looking for candy. This was different, slower, more purposeful. I ignored it. Kept working. The knock came again. Same rhythm. 3 knocks, evenly spaced. I got up and looked through the peephole. Standing in the hallway was someone in a costume. They were wearing all black hoodie, black pants, black gloves, and a mask. A white plastic mask with an exaggerated smile painted on it. Bright red lips curved up in this unsettling grin. Empty eye holes staring straight at my door. The person didn't move. Didn't hold out a bag for candy. Just stood there, perfectly still, watching my door. I didn't open it. Something about the way they stood there felt wrong. Too still, too quiet. After maybe 30 seconds, they turned and walked away. I heard their footsteps going down the stairs. I went back to my laptop, tried to focus on work, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. An hour later, around 8, I got up to get water from the kitchen. As I passed the window, I glanced outside at the parking lot. That's when I saw them again, the person in the smiling mask, standing in the parking lot, facing my window, just standing there under one of the streetlights, completely motionless, staring up at my apartment. My stomach dropped. I backed away from the window and closed the curtains. Told myself it was just someone in a costume, just a weird Halloween prank. Kids do stupid stuff on Halloween all the time. I was overreacting, but when I checked again 10 minutes later, they were still there. Same spot, same position. Still staring. I called the non-emergency police line. Told them someone in a costume was standing in my parking lot, and it was making me uncomfortable. The dispatcher was polite, but dismissive. "It's Halloween, ma'am. Lots of people in costumes tonight. Has this person threatened you or tried to enter your property?" "No, but if they don't leave or if they approach your door again, call us back. Otherwise, it's probably just someone waiting for a friend." I hung up. Felt stupid for calling. Maybe I was overreacting. I decided to go to bed early. Locked all the doors and windows, double-checked everything, turned off my laptop. Around 10 p.m., I was in bed with the lights off, trying to fall asleep. That's when I heard it. 3 taps on my window, the bedroom window. 2nd floor, I froze. My bedroom window faced the side of the building, not the parking lot. There was no balcony, no fire escape, nothing. No way someone could reach that window unless they climbed up. The tapping came again, slower this time. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, shining it toward the window. Through the curtains, I could see a shadow. Someone was there, right outside my window, 2 stories up. I screamed, jumped out of bed, and ran to the living room, locking the bedroom door behind me. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely hold my phone. I called 911 this time. Someone's trying to break into my apartment. They're outside my window on the 2nd floor. The operator stayed on the line with me. Police were dispatched. I huddled in the corner of my living room, away from all windows, clutching a kitchen knife, waiting. It felt like hours, but it was probably only 10 minutes before I heard sirens. 2 officers arrived. They checked the perimeter of the building, looked at the side where my bedroom window was. There was no ladder, no footprints in the grass below, no sign that anyone had been there. One of the officers came up to my apartment. He was kind but skeptical. "Ma'am, are you sure you saw someone?" Sometimes shadows and Halloween decorations can play tricks, especially when you're already on edge. I heard tapping. 3 taps. Someone was at my window. Could have been a branch. "From that tree," he said, gesturing to a tree near the building. "Wind's picking up tonight, but I knew what I heard. I knew what I saw." After the police left, I didn't sleep. I sat in my living room with all the lights on, watching the door, watching the windows. Around 2 a.m., I finally started to relax. Started to think maybe I had imagined it. Maybe I was just paranoid. Then my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "You looked scared tonight." My blood went cold. I stared at the message, read it again and again. Someone had been watching. Someone knew I was scared. I called the police again, showed them the text. They took a report, but said there wasn't much they could do. Could be anyone. Could be a prank. They advised me to block the number and contact my phone carrier. But I knew what I saw. I knew what happened. Except, did I? I started to doubt myself. Started to go back through everything that had happened. The Halloween knock, had anyone actually been there? The person in the parking lot, had I really seen them clearly? The tapping at my window, could it have been a branch? The text message, I looked at my phone. It was still there. "You looked scared tonight." But it was from an unknown number. It could have been anyone. It could have been a wrong number. The spray paint, I'd taken photos. But now that I looked at them again, the letters were shaky, uneven. Like someone who wasn't used to spray painting had done it. Like someone nervous, someone shaking, someone who... No, I didn't do that. I wouldn't. I couldn't. But the doubt was there now, growing, spreading. That night, I decided to prove to myself that I wasn't crazy. I set up my laptop to record video, positioned it facing my door and windows. If someone came back, if something happened, I'd have proof, undeniable proof. I fell asleep on the couch, the laptop recording everything. When I woke up the next morning, I checked the footage. 8 hours of recording. I fast-forwarded through it, watching the empty room, the closed door, the curtained windows. Nothing happened. No one came. Everything was still. Until I got to the timestamp around 3 a.m. The footage showed me, asleep on the couch. The room was dark, lit only by the glow of the laptop screen. And then slowly, I started to move. I watched myself sit up, stand up, walk to the window, pull back the curtain, and stare outside for several minutes. Then I walked to the door, unlocked it, opened it, and stepped out into the hallway. I was gone for 20 minutes. When I came back, I was carrying something. I couldn't make out what it was in the darkness. I closed the door, locked it, and went to my bedroom. The footage continued for another few hours, showing nothing but an empty living room. I had no memory of any of this. I checked my bedroom, looked in the closet, under the bed, in the drawers. That's when I found it. Hidden in the back of my closet, behind a box of old shoes, was a black hoodie, black pants, black gloves, and a white plastic mask with a painted smile. I dropped them, stumbling backward. My mind was racing, trying to make sense of it. This wasn't possible. I would remember. I would know if But I didn't remember. I didn't know. I grabbed my phone and called Detective Torres. Told her I needed to talk to her immediately. She agreed to come to my apartment that afternoon. When she arrived, I showed her everything. The laptop footage, the clothes, the mask. She watched the video carefully, examined the items. Then she sat down across from me. Ms. Mitchell, I'm going to be honest with you. This is concerning. Have you ever been diagnosed with any sleep disorders? Sleepwalking? Dissociative episodes? No, never. I don't understand what's happening to me. I think you need to see a doctor. What you're describing, the gaps in memory, the finding items you don't remember obtaining, the complex behaviors during sleep, these are serious symptoms. You need professional help. What about Mr. Harrison? Did I? Mr. Harrison died of a heart attack. The medical examiner confirmed it. There was no foul play. You didn't hurt anyone, Sarah. But I wasn't sure I believed her, because there was still one thing that didn't make sense. That night, the night Mr. Harrison died, I'd seen the person in the mask go into the apartment. But if that person was me, if I was sleepwalking, then how could I have seen myself? How could I have been in two places at once? Unless I'd imagined that too. The next day, I checked myself into a psychiatric facility, voluntarily, because I needed to know the truth. I needed to understand what was happening to me. The doctors ran tests, sleep studies, psychological evaluations, brain scans, and eventually they gave me a diagnosis: dissociative identity disorder, combined with a severe parasomnia sleepwalking with complex behaviors. They explained that trauma, stress, and isolation can trigger the development of alternate identities, that these identities can act independently, can do things the primary identity has no memory of. They told me I'd been creating the stalker, creating the threat, because some part of me felt so isolated, so alone, that it invented a reason for other people to pay attention to me, to care about me. The person in the mask wasn't stalking me. I was the person in the mask. I was stalking myself. I spent 3 months in treatment, learning to integrate the parts of myself that had split apart, learning coping mechanisms, learning to live with the reality of what I'd done to myself. I moved out of that apartment, moved to a different city, started over. I see a therapist twice a week. I take medication. I'm getting better. But sometimes, late at night, when I'm alone, I wonder if they were right. I wonder if I really did all those things. I wonder if the person in the mask was really me. Because there's one thing they never explained. One thing that doesn't fit. The text message I received that night. You looked scared tonight. I checked my phone records. The message didn't come from my phone. It came from a different number. A number that, when the police traced it, belonged to a burner phone purchased with cash at a convenience store. I never bought a burner phone. So who sent that message? Who was really watching me that Halloween night? I don't know. And that's what scares me most. Because either I'm crazy or someone else knows exactly what happened. And they're still out there, still watching, still smiling,